So my question this morning was, for real? Like, you're going to have a relief rally off of an October meeting that may or may not happen with no specifics, and you're going to want to go buy equities?
Well, I think what the market is telling you is that it sort of wants to go up, and it wants an excuse to go up. So the fact that you had all of this bad news in August and further trade tensions and everything else gave everybody a reason to be as worried as they think they are, because some of the fundamentals in global growth is slowing, and you layer all those things together. I think that just the fact that they're talking again as opposed to not talking, I think the resolution, to the degree that there is a resolution in Hong Kong, probably helps to a degree in terms of some of the other uncertainties that people were worried about. Certainly the changes in Italy also helped a little bit. It looked like that was going to be a bigger problem than it's turning out to be. So I think that there's a general series of relief, but I also think that everybody understands that the trade, ultimately a huge trade war, is going to be a bad thing. And as things have gotten worse for both economies, I think people are looking at that and going, we do need to get something done. So I think that there is some relief that they'll at least go back to talking. If that gets called off, or if we put those tariffs on the 1st of October, it goes back to fear. But I think we're switching back and forth right now between those two things.
Yeah, but you say we're switching back and forth. That seems to be the case, really. For most of August, we were trading between the S&Ps between like 28.20, 29.50, and it looks like today we might gap above that 29.50. But we've been going back and forth, like you say, with that sentiment. But what do you think the next break is going to be? Is it that sentiment continues to improve, or is it that we go back and realize it's just part of this cycle where we get a calm after we just hike tariffs?
I think there are a number of things that it's going to depend on. One of them is going to be earnings. Do we get to a point where the slowdown is enough to really start affecting earnings in a very negative way, as opposed to just, well, maybe they're not growing so much, or maybe they're slowing a little bit? I think that's going to be important. And I also think in the end, if we don't get something done and things continue to deteriorate, it's going to be hard for that enthusiasm to keep going, because ultimately the fundamentals need something underneath them. But right now, sentiment is more important than the fundamentals.